You're right.
Hey, oh, good. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I drove down by there just last week. Yeah, that's definitely going to pass the fine until we can do something. I told them they're in the batch next year to get torn out and redone. So, yeah, yeah. That's what he told me. Yeah. What did we have the equipment to do that?
We did the stretch going down the hill.
Yeah.
We actually worked out a deal with
the county.
With Milestone. To go in there and scratch that in for us.
I thought that looked pretty good.
Yeah.
So good job. Yeah, I
So
thought
they,
you did.
Dave and I talked to them. We went down there and talked to them.
Okay. That's great. That looked good.
I didn't want to push it too
Changed
much.
it just slightly.
Yeah.
You know, they did what they did.
To say the ordinance would be effective.
No, that made everybody happy for now. Yeah. Just got to show them some love down there.
It's just the very last line.
Definitely a bad
Instead of saying
Yeah.
effective
Yeah.
on past,
Good. Thank you.
it says effective on January 1, 2020.
Okay.
And make sure Brenda knows this has to be published after the past third reading.
Yes. Is there a chance they can suspend the rules tonight?
They could if they
Okay.
wanted to.
Okay. The annexation.
I thought yesterday that I got
It's like $200 if they don't.
I'm not fine.
Dave, and then when you resend that ordinance, the effective date change.
Did you make some last minute adjustments back there? Here we go. I have total confidence in your skills.
Hey, Aaron,
So if you
did
tell
you
me
have a
give it
chance to
a
look at
nod,
that email I sent you?
didn't look like
Did you have a chance to look at the email I sent you? Yeah, everything will do this.
I mean, with all the cuts we have, I think.
Lose them out. It's just well,
Oh, no. Did you just?
yesterday.
Yeah, right.
He had like 2 different emails.
Yeah. I'll look again, but I don't think I saw it.
Send me a message if you got to.
Yeah, I'll look.
I'll read and
And
let
if
me
I
know
don't,
which one to
I'll
send it to.
email you. That way you can just reply.
Okay.
But yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. We need to button that up.
It's rough, pretty
It's
plain
all right.
Jane.
It's the way it starts.
We don't get fined, do we?
deduct your pay. Yeah. Do the math on that, like 5 minutes late, yeah.
But you guys can find out.
Oh, I didn't clean this out.
It's like a crowd full back here tonight.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bow our heads with me, please. Thank you, Lord, for this day. Thank you for the opportunity that we have to serve our community. I pray that you help us make good business decisions in our endeavors. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. The City Council meeting Monday, September 16th, 2019 comes to order. Roll call, please.
Mary Brington. Here. Jack Hancock. Jerry Walden.
Here.
Aaron Dickens.
Here.
Mark Covert.
Here.
Lynn Purdue.
Here.
Rex Peckham.
Here. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes from the former meeting?
I'd like to make a motion to set the minutes from the previous meeting.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Mary Brenton.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Jerry Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Mark Covert.
Abstain.
Lynn Purdue.
Aye.
Rex Beckman.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0 to 1 abstain. Mr. President, I turn this over to you, but I'll turn it over to
That's fine.
council for
Sure.
public meeting.
Perfect.
Tonight, folks, we're having a public hearing. It's on ordinance 3808, which is an ordinance annexing certain vacant real estate into the city limits. That real estate is located in the Northfield Park Industrial Park, which is the area down by the YMCA area. The legal description and map appeared in the newspaper. The developer or property owner is here to answer any questions if anybody has any. So if anyone is here that wishes to present evidence, ask questions of the developer, or provide information to council regarding this ordinance, now is the time to come forward, state your name and address, and make your presentation. Seeing none, I would advise the clerk to show the public hearing closed, and Mr. Coker, you can resume the meeting.
Thanks, Dave. Second reading, 3808, I move that we accept that.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mary Brenton.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Jerry Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Mark Covert.
Aye.
Lynn Purdue.
Aye.
Rex Beckman.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Next on the agenda, we have first readings of our budgets. I think before we read the budget, I'm going to open it up to council to, if they have any questions for either Brenda or Christie, to talk about those questions now before we move on. If anybody has any, feel free to go and ask any questions that you need.
Well,
Mark, I just want to thank you for answering the couple that I had.
That's no problem.
Well, I was going to say a big thanks to Brenda for stepping up to the plate and answering a bunch of my questions. It's nice to be able to count on her to get some of those questions answered. I guess one of the questions that I had, just because I still count myself as new until January 1st, is because I just am unsure of how this process works. Obviously, we've got a lot of departments. We talk throughout the year here, especially this year. I think the council's had a few different discussions about maybe ponying up some money to help cover some projects with different departments. Are the department heads consulted throughout this process as far as what their focus is, what their plan is for 2020, and what they need? Okay. I got around a few of them, but I still have a few to get a hold of.
We do have a possible amendment to the budget.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that before we go ahead and proceed?
For transportation, Doug, to get the full federal grant, we need to additional appropriate $41,107. We're gonna put it into his health fund account. And that way, it's in his budget, and he'll be able to get the full federal grant with that money. Right now, he's that much short of getting the full federal grant that he can get. So the goal is to get him as much money as we can get him to operate his
Okay.
And
department.
give me that figure one more time. You said 41.
107. 41,107.
Anything? All right. Anybody else? Okay, first reading, 3811, which is the 2020 budget. I move that we accept that.
I second that.
Motion and a second. Is there any other questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mary Brington,
Aye.
Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Jerry Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Nay.
Mark Hover.
Aye.
Lynn Purdue.
Aye.
Rex Beckdahl.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-1.
Next is first reading ordinance 3812, which is the 2020 Department of Finance salary. Move that we accept that.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any other questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mary Brington.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Jerry Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Mark Hover.
Aye.
Lynn Purdue.
Aye.
Rex Beckdahl.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Next, first reading 3813, the 2020 management salary. Move that we accept that.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any other questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mary Brington.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Jerry Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Mark Hover.
Aye.
Lynn Purdue.
Aye.
Rex Beckdahl.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Next, first reading 3814, 2020 elected official salary. Move that we accept that.
I'll second that with the note that the city council did not take a pay raise.
Motion made and seconded. Any questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mary Brington.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Jerry Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Mark Hover.
Aye.
Lynn Purdue.
Aye.
Rex Beckdahl.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
First reading 3815, 2020 hourly salary. Move to accept that.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any other questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mary Brington.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Jerry Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Mark Hover.
Aye.
Lynn Purdue.
Aye.
Rex Beckdahl.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
First reading ordinance 3816, 2020 fire salary.
Second.
Mo-
Made.
I'll make the motion.
Motion made and seconded. Any other questions or comments?
I zoned out, sorry.
Good job.
Got it done. Got it done.
Roll call vote, please.
Mary Brington.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Jerry Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Nay.
Mark Hover.
Aye.
Lynn Purdue.
Aye.
Rex Beckdahl.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-1.
Next is first reading ordinance 3817, the EMS salary.
I move we accept that.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call, any other questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mary Brington.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Jerry Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Mark Hover.
Aye.
Lynn Purdue.
Aye.
Rex Beckdahl.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Next is first reading 3818, the police salary.
I move we accept that.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any other questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mary Brington.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Jerry Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Mark Hover.
Aye.
Lynn Purdue.
Aye.
Rex Beckdahl.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
That concludes ordinances and resolutions for tonight. I'll turn the floor over to Council Lady Brington for committee reports.
I have nothing tonight.
Okay. How's your dad?
Better.
Good, good.
Nothing, Your Honor.
I'd like to ask Aaron and Jeff to meet with me a little bit after council meeting to discuss one of the intersections that we were asked to investigate with, please. Other than that, I have nothing else.
Thank you. Aaron?
I don't think I have anything this time.
I don't have any.
Nothing for me.
Just a small report on Stellar. We're basically to the end of the line in terms of the local work. This week, the report will be turned in, and then the rest of the process will continue. But it's been an interesting process, and lots of communication between the county and the city of Newcastle and Knightstown, which has been good. But eventually, we'll find out where we stand on that. The worst that happens is we're going to get about $120,000, and the best, of course, is we get a piece of $22 million. So, but that's all I have.
Chief? Nothing. Chief? Chief? Anything? Jane? Dave? No. Counselor? Rick?
speaking of that, I sent a
Emails.
email, or I can't remember if it was a text or what, but I believe it was Carmel had a baby dropped off in their baby box last week.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
it does work.
Like within 30 days of it being completed. I
Yes,
think.
it might have been. I didn't read the entire thing, but yes.
Mr. President, I just wanted to correct something. I was misquoted in the paper. No offense, Darrell, but I didn't, if anyone here took from my comments last time that you couldn't put money towards the baby thing, that was a misunderstanding. What I said was you could not give money to a charity. That you can't do. You can't give it to the United Way, or you can't give it to a charity. But if you want to pay money for this project, as long as you put the money into it, you get, bids and everything like you have to do, that's fine.
So the city could make a
I didn't
donation
get
of
that.
$5,000.
Well, it wouldn't be a,
Well, we
it
would,
wouldn't be a donation.
like
it
down
would
here,
just be
we,
funding.
if they decided to put it in Fire Station 1, there'd have to be some remodeling done.
Right,
And we could take part in that
Because it's city property.
and, without any problem.
Okay.
I think that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Corrected.
Yeah, they can put money into the building of the project. They just can't give money to a 501c3 who will do it. They have to, because you don't know where it's gonna go.
Right.
That would be up to the 501c3. But government can, this would be fine since it's something that's needed for the community, and if they wanna invest money into it, they can, but they would have to do the work or spend the money, and it would have to be done according to bidding laws and that sort of thing.
Well, I'll fix it, thank you. Anything else?
No.
Doug? Greg?
Just a word of warning, we intend to flush hydrants next week. It's quite a bit later than we normally do it, but that's due to painting the island tower. We couldn't paint, so we couldn't flush it until we had that supply of water reserved. So don't wash any white laundry next week.
Yellow's okay.
Dark colors only.
Dark colors are okay, white may be yellow after.
Yeah, white would be yellow. Anything else?
That's it.
Lee?
Leaf season is around the corner. I've already spotted the first pile of leaves on Greenwood Avenue. The only thing I'd like the paper to put in there on that is, last year we had a real problem with people piling leaves on top of brush pile or brush on top of leaf piles. Those are two separate things. They need to keep them separated, let the trucks, two different trucks go by and pick those up. And so if the community could keep that separated, it would really be a big benefit to us.
Anyone from the public like to come before the council this evening? It's time.
Good evening. My name's Mike McCown. I own a property at 417 South 14th Street and directly north to that. I understand that last week, Mr. Hall and the Little Caesars people came to see you. Your third and final reading will be during fall break, so I will not be able to attend that. So I just wanted to come tonight and give you a little background and a little history of that block. When I bought it approximately 19 years ago, it was it wasn't 19 years ago, I'm sorry. It was closer to 30 years ago. It was actually all residential. 19 years ago, I came in front of the council to change it to commercial, to C1. And the First Baptist Church demonstrated against me because under C1, there was a provision in there I could put an adult bookstore or a liquor store. So at that time, I think, Dave, I don't know the right name, but I think they put an amendment on my C1 commercial.
I don't know whether you got a variance or it was rezoned.
No, it was rezoned C1, and there was an amendment put on that I would not put a adult bookstore or a liquor store. Having said that, I have some concerns about the Little Caesars. I do not wish any ill will towards them or them to not get their commercial zoning. However, that corner for the 30-plus years I've been there has always been cut through so that people don't stop at the light at 14th and Indiana. We have put dumpsters there, and my employees and I have an office pool every year of what color car is going to hit it. And I'm down about $80 to the guys that work for me because red keeps hitting it. But having said that, we have put a dumpster and some trailers and stuff there to try to keep people from cutting the corner. I have a huge concern that if there is not a barrier of some sort put between myself and Little Caesars, that they will cut from the liquor store across my lot and into Little Caesars. So at the or planning commission, zoning board, whatever it was, I distributed this, and I have several copies of them. I drove around town and I met with Kenny and the county because the city doesn't have any actual terminologies for this buffer that I want. I took some pictures of some around that has a 6 or 8 inch curb, approximately 3 foot wide, with bushes and or mulch, rock, something to keep people from coming through my lot as a precaution of safety to going into that lot.
Mike, last council meeting, we requested a privacy fence on the west side, so there's no headlights and no houses on Main Street, and at least a 3 foot or something retaining wall between your property and there.
Okay.
And they agreed to do that.
Well, I would just like it in writing.
In a public hearing meeting, when they're here, we'll have it in writing and everything.
Okay,
too.
that's fine. I have pictures if you'd like them, but I just felt like I needed to come say something, and I will not be here for that October 8th meeting.
Yeah, we requested that, and they agreed to it, but we'll have it in writing.
Okay,
Public record.
all right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Any other citizens wishing to come before the council?
Sean Defoe with the Chamber of Commerce. I just wanted to update you all on some of the events that are taking place later on this month. In particular, we do have a ribbon cutting ceremony on September 27th. It'll be the fourth Friday at, I believe, 4 p.m. And it's going to be at the 1822 Antique Boutique there on the corner of 14th and Broad Street. You are all invited to attend that. Also, encouragement in regards to our desire to work alongside businesses. We have a workforce session coming up on September 26th at 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Henry County REMC. It is going to be the very first speakers are welcoming from the mayor himself, so we look forward to that. But we invite.
Write that date down.
Yes. That'd be very important, Mayor, since we have you there. So, 11:30. Actually, make it 11. No. And then for any of you who may know a business or two that are in need of marketing strategies and introduction to Instagram, we're having a workshop at the Chamber of Commerce at 9 a.m. There Wednesday. If you need more information, you come see me or look at our website. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other citizens wishing to come before the council this evening?
I'll make this fast. Chris Cole, 25 years with the fire department. I want to make this as far as having a reading on a salary ordinance. I don't know if everyone here is familiar, but for 25 years, this usually would take place after contract negotiations, even if those negotiations resulted in no raise. I want to make it clear, point number one, I'm not a gimme employee. I understand there's not a money tree that grows back there. I'm very realistic and very practical guy. And we're all called to be good stewards with the taxpayers' money. You guys especially, I believe even the employees. So I want to make that point that this is not about gimme. And I want to make point number two, this administration and this council have been very good to the fire department. Living conditions improved, showers installed. The stations are better than they've ever been in my time here. Your diligent pursuit of LOIT funds and your insistence that they be distributed correctly. All of those things are to be admired. I've always felt like the relationship between the union and this administration was awesome. And I think that attendance reflects that. If you check the numbers at the fire department, attendance is better than I've ever seen it. There's virtually no overtime at all. So I guess part of my frustration here is I just got a text last night that this was going to come before the council. And I just question, why the timing, and there's a little bit of a mutual respect thing. It's a spirit of cooperation that we've had, and it seems to have been working good in the 7 years you've been here. And I just have a question, what happened? If there's not going to be any raise, we're all adults, we understand. But I think to sit across the table and negotiate in good faith and say it and make it clear and communicate to the employees clearly that that's the case is a better road to go than to get a text at 6:30 on a Sunday night. And that's all I have. I appreciate your time. I meant everything I said about the way you've treated the fire department. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Any other citizens wishing to come before the council?
Your Honor, I move we adjourn.
Second.
Meeting adjourned.
I was thinking the exact same thing. Well, the thing is, he ought to go